Okay, it's time to start getting ready to sew your designs onto your monster. We want to put the things on, sew them on before we actually sew the monster together because it doesn't work the other way. So the first thing, you guys should have all gotten all of your designs okayed. You should have sent that to me and let me look it over. And then once you get that done, so you should have placed them onto your monster. You can see how I've got her little shirt on there, the eyes, the eyebrows, her lips. Now mine's going to have a tutu. That's going to come later. I'm going to put that on after I actually make the monster because I want to put it on the outside and I'm going to put it all the way around. Now you need to stop and think about the order that you're going to put everything else in. Like some of you, like my eyes are layered. So if you look here, I've cut out the whole eye out of black, okay? And then I cut the eye, I don't know what, the eyeball, I guess, out of white, and then I cut the iris out of purple. So you have to think about how you want to put this on your monster. So the first thing you did, if you can see, I've already sewn the eyeball on, and then but I haven't sewn this on yet. So what I want to do is position it on here, and you want to get everything in place so you don't sew something on and then realize, oh, that's not in the right place, that's crooked. So then I'm going to pin this down. And I've tried to think, I got to tell you, I tried the staple thing. The staple did not work with this at all. So I've had to use pins. Hopefully you guys have some of those at home. And then at that point, get everything in place, pin it all in place, make sure it's all even, and then you can start sewing it on. So you'll notice, for instance, that I've already sewn this eye on. So I sewed through the white and sewed all the way around the white of the eye so that now the eye is sewn to the black and it's sewn to the monster all at the same time. I didn't sew the edges of the eyelashes. I thought that might be cute. I went ahead and sewed around the purple as well for one of the eyebrows. But today I'm going to show you how to sew by showing you an example on her lips. I've started them and I want to show you how to finish that. So again, you got to make sure they're all in the right spot and secured together, and think about those layers. What are you going to sew together first before you sew it to the monster? Then you have to get your thread. Now, unfortunately, if we were at school, I would be able to give you all the different colors. I didn't have enough thread to do that, and I didn't know what your designs were going to end up looking like, so I gave you each one spool of thread, which, if that's all you have, then you're going to make do, and your monster's going to look amazing. However, if you have access to other thread, then ideally you match the thread color to the item color. I have a bunch at home because I have thread. So I had red for her lips. I had black. Well, I didn't need black actually. I have white to sew around the eyes. And you'll notice this isn't even the same color purple, but it disappears into that, and it works just fine. And then I have orange that I'm going to use on, and there they go rolling away, that I'm going to use on her top. So if you have that, or you want to get some at Walmart, if you happen to be going there to buy groceries, that's fine, but your monster will look great even if it's all sewn with the same color thread. Now, to get your thread ready, you want to get off enough thread that you can actually have enough to sew with for a while. So if you picture yourself standing with your arms completely spread out from one side to the other, straight across, and you make the thread long enough so that it would go from one finger across your body to the other hand, and then cut it off the spool. Don't leave it on the spool. You want to actually cut it off the spool when you get that length. Okay, so cut that thread so that it's separate from the spool. And then you want to get the needle that you have, and get your thread. Now, I have a separate video that shows you how to tie a knot in it, but I want to show you here. You want to put this through the hole in the needle, and you're going to pull it down so that the ends of the thread are the same length. So there's my needle. The ends of my thread are the same length. We call this sewing with double thread. You see that? Okay, so that's both of my ends of my thread. Now, you have to tie a knot in the ends of these threads together before you start sewing. So if you go and look at the video that's called The Big Ugly Knot, that is what you want. You want a big ugly knot. I'm not going to take the time to show you that here, so you can go and look at that tutorial and watch it over and over again. This is what a big ugly knot should look like. Our knots need to be like that. If they're too tiny and cute, they slide right through your felt. So Big Ugly Knot, go watch that tutorial. It's under the hand sewing folder, and it will show you how to do that. So we always start sewing on the back, and we're going to do a running stitch. There is another tutorial there that shows you different stitches, and you want to watch through that, and you're going to look for the one that's the running stitch. I'm going to show you how to do it here as well. We always start on the back, and you don't want to turn it over to start stitching because you can't see where you need to come through. Instead, you're going to come up from behind. So you see I'm holding this right next to where I want to come up, and you want to come up right next to the edge. So I don't know if you can see, there's my needle there. Okay. And I put it through, and I'm going to bring my hand around, and I'm going to pull it until the knot touches the back. Okay, you see that? My knot has touched all the way to the back of the fabric. And then I'm going to take another tiny stitch right next to it. You see how close I am? You can see my stitches, and I put my hand underneath. And, oh, it got caught on his leg. That's okay, that's going to happen. And you pull it through. And you come up from behind. So a running stitch, you're literally just going up and down. You're going from the back to the front. There's my needle. Pull my hand around, pull it, and then I go down right next to it. And you want to make little tiny stitches. You see how close they are together? Little tiny stitches. If you make big long ones, there it goes. Tuck that right down in there. You see that? If you make big long ones, your pieces will just get loose, and they'll come right off after you've gone to all this trouble to make it. Okay, so seriously, we're going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm going to finish this for you right here. I want to show you how to tie a knot on the back. So I'm just sewing right up the side here. You guys can see. Sorry about that. This is going to happen to you too. It gets caught on his leg. It's not, it just got wrapped around actually. But it helps if you are touching what you're sewing. In other words, you see that I've got my thumb on there and I'm holding it from the back as well. If you notice, I drew a little line on her lips to show that center line on her lips. So I just did that with a pin. And we're going to go, and I'm just going to sew a little bit further, and I'll show you how to tie a knot. So again, I want you to note how small my stitches are. You guys have plenty of time to take your time and do this. Small stitches up and then down. Go all the way around the edge. Don't leave any gaps. Around each piece. This is my last stitch. I'm going to go in right there. Okay. Now I've gone all the way around the lips, if you can see there. So now I need to tie a knot on the back. If I just cut it off, then this is going to come loose. So I'm going to turn my monster over. This is where my thread came out on the back. You can see that. Now to tie a knot, and you see, well, there's already a knot there. That was where I started, all right? So I'm going to take a small piece of the felt, very small piece. Can you see that? I sewed right through the felt, just a little bit. I pull it, and I'm going to pull it until I still have a loop. I'm going to put my needle in the loop, and when I pull it down, it ties a little knot on itself. I'm going to do that 3 times in the same spot. Take a little tiny bit of the felt, then I pull it till I still have a loop. Okay, put my needle in the loop, and then I pull it, and it ties a knot on itself. And do it one more time. A little tiny stitch, pull it till I have a loop, put my needle through the loop, pull it down. See, and it doesn't matter if this isn't pretty. It's kind of gotten all knotted up there. I mean, you want it to be knotted up. And then I take my scissors and I trim so it's no longer attached. Okay, so this is the back. It doesn't matter if it's not pretty. You can see where some of my other stitching is. Okay, but we want nice and neat on the front. So again, notice, do you see how close my stitches are? You say, Miss Ruggles, we can't do that. Of course you can. You can go all the way around there, But again, small, close together. We always start and stop on the back. All of your knots should be on the back. That's why we make big ugly knots, because no one cares what they look like. So no knots on the front. Nice and neat. Think about the layers. All right. I'm going to sew around the edges of her top. And you want to work on that until you get all of your pieces sewn on.